from the dance tunes of Martin Solveig. And Alex, while the hammer final carries on, we will rock and roll between that and the long jump head-to-head, which has some excellent athletes in decent form this season.
Yeah, I think the athlete you're thinking of was John Stephen Akwari. Might well be the Tanzanian in the marathon in 1968. But yeah, we've seen a few great stories like that, haven't we? This is Daniel Egilson. He's sort of urging for calm there after being in a bit of a pressure situation. And I was wondering when he was going to feature on the leaderboard, because we just haven't seen anything representative from him yet. However, he is surely one of the top Icelandic performers. 7:79. So the lead now held by Daniel Ingi Egilson of Iceland. 7:79 from Tchaikovsky. 7:74. They're both wind legal efforts out front. Here is Tchaikovsky in second place. He's going to try and regain the lead here. 7:91, his personal best from a couple of years ago. It's been a really strong series, and now he's going to be pushed by a top competitor. Egilson, who was actually second in the second league 2 years ago. Good foot placement there, pretty much spot on. Tchaikovsky in the end, 7:83 to overtake Egilson in the final round. Hove Kimyan getting a bit of a luck there, because he had some strongly windy jumps and then that personal best. And Mikael Vilches-Vendrell will switch his attention now to his other four events and possibly a fifth with the relay too. So this is how it's looking then. This is considered to be after 2 of just 37 events, so very early stages. Nice to see it being all to play for. I think, though, it's hard, Rob, to estimate who the real promotion contenders might be. We could end up seeing some DQs, some DNFs that could also play a part, and some non-scores as well.
So Jonsson, riding high with a 70-metre throw. Can he improve? Oh, that right arm goes up in the air again. What an absolute beast. Now, his season's best is 74.59. That was in Falun in May. I don't think it's quite that far, but it's not a million miles away. That's going to be an improvement to his lead. The only question is by how much. Yes, Hilmar Jonsson took it. Margiev did indeed get above 70 metres, but not enough to overhaul his rival. So maximum points to Iceland. Republic of Moldova in second. I wonder whether that's how it will finish at the end of tomorrow night in the battle for automatic instant return to Division 2.
Moldova, San Marino, Luxembourg, Andorra, North Macedonia, Iceland and Malta, all involved, all desperately hoping to get underway. The Georgian Kvaratskhelia obviously winning the first heat. There we are. What a relief, eh? 56.20, that victory a moment ago was a big, big personal best for the Georgian, and hopefully this one will be another great battle. You can see interlock there in the centre. We've got Vieira and Friedrich, and then on the outside, as expected, going well in the blue of Iceland, is Ivar Jasanarsson, the only athlete who's ever gone sub 52 seconds, and he's also done that this year as well. So he will be expecting to follow what Jonsson has done in the hammer. But look at this, the battle with the Andorran here. So Andorra obviously getting the victory in the women's race with Dunja Vinyals, and this is very close. Jasanarsson trying to come through on the outside and does. Oh, fantastic battle between the two athletes. And, well, Vieira has got a personal best as a reward for a really brave performance against what was on paper an athlete nearly a second faster. Very impressive from the young Andorran. As we go back to the track, the 100 metres, men and women, will be a strong event for San Marino, by the way, and they'll hope to push themselves up the leaderboard. We've got Francesco Sansovini, who'll go in lane 4, as you can see here, and Sansovini along with Alessandra Gasparelli. So let's keep a close eye here. You've got Nagiev coming through the centre for Azerbaijan, ahead of Sansovini. So a little bit of an upset here. The athlete from Azerbaijan coming out on top of the fastest man on the field, but isn't the first time that that's happened today. A bit of the turning of the tables. So Nagiev comes out on top then, 10:42, and he takes their first maximum points of the European Team Championships.
So Nagiev ensures top points for Azerbaijan in the glamorous event of the men's 100 metres.
Yeah, fantastic for Nagiev, and once again, quite big margins. Only one athlete within 0.4 seconds. So all of this will change quite quickly, but Iceland looking very, very strong. And even though we're still, I guess, in the early stages, you would think that Iceland are in a fantastic position, given the top 3 sides will all get promoted to the second league for the next edition of this competition in 2027. In the meantime, this is a Heat B then of the women's 100 metres, and it does feature Alessandra Gasparelli. And after her teammate Francesco Sansovini was beaten in the men's race, maybe she can come out on top here. Matt Rezbegovic, Parnis Calero, Gasparelli, Chiloyan, Valieva, Hlesdotir and Geng. As women's 100 metre B race. So Gasparelli does get away quite well. Valieva also going strongly. It's even behind her. Can anyone challenge? Right at the end of this race, Gasparelli still and across the line in 11.51 seconds. And a rather calm wind compared to what we saw at the start of the day. But Gasparelli, 11.5 seconds. So, looks like a personal best here. And there is confirmation of that. I haven't seen too many national records so far across the last couple of hours, but at least there is one indeed. And a decent margin of victory ahead of Valieva, who gets that personal best, as does Hlesdotir. So that is a big PB, down from 12.01. The national record, 11.56. We're going to move on, though, to the 1,500 metres. And, well, this is the first race we will have seen where, of course, we don't have 2 separate heats, Rob.
The men's 1,500 metres. They are away. And what a race in prospect. Murchian of Armenia going straight to the front. 3:42 at the European Indoor Championships this year. Coming up to the bell in the men's 1,500 metres, the European Athletics Team Championship 3rd Division here in Slovenia. Cracking day of athletics in baking sunshine, and it is the pre-race favourite, Yervan Murchian, the 1,500 metre specialist, a 1:49 man over 800. He's really going for it here, but the fabulous steeplechaser, Nanuel Carabana of Andorra, is matching him stride for stride. Kluckers of Luxembourg has gone ahead of a tiring Samardzic, so it's Luxembourg 3, Bosnia and Herzegovina 4. And look at the finish here from Carabana. Has he broken the spirit of the Armenian? But Murchison's coming back, you know. What a race this is. There's not much to separate them, but Carabana looking over his shoulder once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. And now the Armenian spirit is broken. Carabana going for the double, and he's done the first instalment. Blistering acceleration down that last bend and into that home straight. Luxembourg 3rd, Bosnia-Herzegovina coming home after that. Wow. Murchison tried to come back at the Andorran, but that speed endurance held good. That's why he won the 5,000 metres at the Small Stakes Games, and that's why he's arrived here in tip-top form. Another great win for Andorra. Well, Nanuel Carabana with a massive PB, out-sprinting Murchison, probably the pre-race favourite. Kluckers taking third for Luxembourg. Brilliant race where the top 7 all came home inside 4 minutes. The gap is big, but not quite as big as it was. Luxembourg now to within 30 points of Iceland and Azerbaijan, up to trouble the long-term leaders. But it is, Alex, beginning to look quite good for Iceland, making an instant return to Division 2. Lining up for that women's 400 metres. So it's Stuber Liechtenstein in 2. Mamatsashvili of Georgia 3. Spiteri, Malta on her outside. Gulieva, Azerbaijan in 4. Arendt, Luxembourg 5. Bjarne Dottir, Iceland in 6. Bakwiri, Albania 7. Sulcic, Bosnia in lane 8. Arendt of Luxembourg, the favourite. They're away first time. And what a great race this should be, and what an opportunity for Fanny Arendt. She's extreme left of picture in that familiar strip of Luxembourg, being put under a little bit of pressure by Mamatsashvili, but Arendt leads. She's out in 7. The lane that Karsten Warholm loves. Mamatsashvili is giving chase. She had a PB in her last run. And the Georgian is not out of this. Good run by Gulieva on the inside. But Fanny Arendt, the student at Texas University, is pulling away. Mamatsashvili just about hanging on to second, although she's tied. Watch the clock. It's not a national record this time, but another fine victory. 53.5. She was made to work for that because Mamatsashvili was on her inside and was putting her under pressure around that second bend. But what a season it's turning out to be for Fanny Arendt. Well, a good PB for Mamatsashvili in second place, thoroughly deserved. She's run inside 55 seconds. But Fanny Arendt, no national record this time, but a solid win, having come under a little bit of pressure. And Bjarne Dottir ran 55 on the nose in third. Look at that lead. Iceland pulling away from Luxembourg. Bosnia-Herzegovina ahead of the Moldovans, and the Moldovans were fancied to battle for this title with the Icelandic team, but Moldova down in 4th at the moment, although it's pretty tight between 3rd, 4th and 5th.
Here we have, Leven Kvaratskhelia. You may remember that he won the A race of the 400 hurdles. So going again here in the 400 flat. An unexpected double for sure. Kvaratskhelia doesn't really do 400 metres, but he's pretty sharp over 200, 22.82, personal best, which is pretty good at this sort of level. So should post a good time here. And you can see, just maybe Lassine there, who I think is marginal favourite in this race, saw the advance of Kvaratskhelia and was very keen to push on himself in the red, white and blue. Well, as Rob and I was saying, the talk has been all about some of the female athletes from Luxembourg over the last year or so, particularly Patricia van der Weken, and now Fanny Arendt, 100, 200 and 400 national records. But Lassine going strongly, but you can see well back, in fact, as the camera pans out, from Rusenovic of Montenegro here. So this is really impressive. 50.30 showing as his personal best. I wonder whether that is accurate, because he's just posted a time of 47.74, and you can see by the expression on his face that that is genuine surprise at the clock, and you don't often see that. So often we know athletes work behind the scenes so hard in training, and they always say they knew a big time was coming, but to see that genuine shock on his face, well, that is brilliant, because yet again, he's beaten a faster athlete. What a performance from Rusenovic of Montenegro, Rob. So this then is the second heat.
Yes, this is the start list for the second heat of the men's 400 metres. Amel Tuka still flying the flag for Bosnia-Herzegovina. Watch for Tuka and Burraj in between them, the Albanian in 5. Well, this time they are cleanly away. And what a quick start from Burraj. Amel Tuka's been left in his blocks, as it were, and Burraj is already up on Galea Sola, who's had a fantastic season so far. The question is whether Burraj can keep this going. The Andorran Blasi trying to go with him. He's miles clear of everyone, scorching round this second bend. A multiple winner of this event. Galusko of Moldova trying to close the gap. Watch out for Galea Sola of Malta, but all eyes on this brilliant Albanian Franko Burraj, who's going to win this title again. Galea Sola coming home for second place, just ahead of Galusko, but they all trailed in the wake of Franko Burraj, and I think that might be his first run inside 46 seconds in his entire career. What a run and what a win. Franko Burraj with a national record, Galea Sola with a PB, Galusko with a PB, and Amel Tuka just a shade inside 48 seconds, the veteran coming home fourth. Iceland, a handsome lead over Luxembourg, and Bosnia-Herzegovina just 2 points ahead of one of the favourites, Moldova. Pretty tight for second, third, fourth, fifth and sixth, but Iceland, at the moment, Alex, they're in a class of their own. Well, the first race was good, 47.73 with the Albanians. Cracking first day in Division 3 here in Slovenia. Right, so who takes the early initiative here? Watching for the breakaway. Pretty good running by Rausch of Luxembourg. We go to the aerial view. Iceland going well, just in the middle of your picture with Luxembourg and Bosnia. Oh, a little bit of a dodgy changeover with Iceland, which allows the Luxembourg quartet to come round. That's Rossi on that third leg for them. On to Gaing. Iceland from Luxembourg. Camilla Gaing, is she going to hang on? Or can Helsdottir take it? Iceland from Luxembourg. And over in lane 3, it was Malta, 46.04. So it was significantly quicker than the Albanian time in the first heat. Luxembourg also inside that mark. Well, it was a fabulous run from Gaing, Camilla Gaing, who looked like she might take it for Luxembourg, but Helsdottir came through wonderfully well in the lane outsider. Cracking duel, and you can tell how excited the Icelandic quartet are. They are strengthening their grip at the top of Division 3. The team from Iceland, who are looking a safe bet to bounce straight back to Division 2. Iceland from Luxembourg. Malta, a national record for Bosnia and Herzegovina in fourth with 47.12. Moldova fifth. Azerbaijan in 8th place with 51.07.
So, 5,000 metres is the next track event, scheduled to get underway in a couple of moments. So, yes, obviously to this point we've seen up to 1,500 metres, and just the one race at that. But it's yet another event in which Iceland should be strong. Baldvin Magnusson, who has a personal best of 13:20.34. Only athlete to get near that is who we saw introduced last, Dario Ivanovski of North Macedonia, 13:54.58, and he has the early lead here and is keen to push on. And I just wonder how Baldvin Magnusson might react to this. Back to the 5,000 metres though, Rob, and well, since we last looked, the gap has really grown significantly between Magnusson and the rest of the pack.
This is a huge, bold bid by Ivanovski to run the sting out of the finish of Magnussen behind him. Ivanovski, let's give this some context. Ivanovski's in the red, now just top left of picture. His best time in the 5,000 metres is 13:54, but he was in the Olympic marathon last year. He's also a former national champion over the 1,500 and the half marathon. Magnussen ran 13:20 for the 5,000 metres at East Michigan University last year. That is a world-class time, but frankly, he's having to work quite hard to stick with the Macedonian. And as far as the chasers are concerned, it's Spiteri, who ran a 1:07 half marathon in Milan and ran a PB of 14:26 on the 14th of June for 5,000 metres. This is about whether the stamina man can run the sting out of a quick finish from the Icelandic athlete in second. But this gap is sizable. What's that? 30, maybe 35 metres. That's from first to second, Alex. The gap from second to third is absolutely massive. These two, without question, are in a class of their own. I mean, look at his cadence and his body language. Ivanovski takes the bell in the final of the men's 5,000 metres. It's the European Athletics Team Championship 3rd Division. That's Baldvin Magnussen, who won the 3,000 4 years ago. No disrespect to a world-class athlete, but he has been blown away by a North Macedonian out for history. He will be second, but there's no doubt who the champion is. It will be Darlo Ivanovski. The marathon man has not wilted under the searing heat here in Slovenia. This has been an incredible run.
Sensational, isn't it? And he's worked so hard from the very get-go, overlapping here. Yannick Linus of Luxembourg. Dario Ivanovski, he has just been glued to the track, floating his way along, and seemingly hasn't tired. So here he comes. It's just going to be outside 14 minutes in the end. But what a solo running performance from Ivanovski to beat Baldvin Magnussen. Again, a faster athlete on paper, but this man has such incredible range, such great marathon form, and a half marathon of 64 minutes as well, 2:08 for the longer distance. Magnussen going to pretty much stroll in second place, but what a race that he has run as well. A decent time in the end, 14:30, and there should be quite a gap back to third place. It'd be very interesting to see the latest on this gap. As you mentioned that Spiteri was fighting for it, but here we can see the Andorran then coming in third place, Carlos Gomez Lozano.
What a race and what a win for Darlo Ivanovski.
Well, this is the last track action, at least across Heats A and B of the men's 4x100 metres, coming right up. Let's see how they go here. Kosovo, Albania, San Marino, Armenia, Andorra, North Macedonia, and then Montenegro. Well, what was basking in the sunlight has now turned to shade. Let's have a look at this opening leg. So good initially from North Macedonia with Trajkovski. One jumper, of course, who won his individual event. Continuing to go strongly. Andorra also having a good run in the navy vest from lane 6. Let's have a look as we come towards the home straight now. Real stretch from the Andorrans. Just got it there in time. North Macedonia, smile on his face, pushing his way through. But a real fight on behind. And looks like Sansovini brings San Marino home for second place. Oh, look at that celebration, though. In front for North Macedonia. And Jovan Stojowski, 40.89. A second ahead of San Marino, Rob. Yes, they were started off by a long jumper and brought home by a 400 hurdler with a couple of sprinters in between, or more conventional sprinters, you might say. So North Macedonia with a national record to boot as well, 40.89. Good margin of victory from a fantastic finishing San Marino team.
Right, so North Macedonia have put the hammer down with a 40.89 men's 4x1, San Marino with a 41.91, and Armenia with 42 seconds on the nose. These teams will hope to go even quicker. We're not using lane 1, so we go 8-2. Last points available, day 1, Division 3 here in Maribor. Personal motivation for one of the athletes. Okay, it's a clean start this time. Who takes the first edge? Good running from the Icelandic athletes for Varsen. Luxembourg with a little bit to do. Iceland trying to close the gap on Moldova just on their outside, and Malta running well on the outside. Oh, terrible exchange there. I think it was the Moldovans running out of room. Iceland now coming through with Luxembourg on their inside. Look at the high knee lift there. Great running by the Icelandic team. Thorn Grimson takes it, Luxembourg second, 40.86. Wow, only a few hundredths quicker than North Macedonia in the first of the heats. There was a terrible changeover from second to third there, I think, for the Moldovans. Iceland came through brilliantly. Luxembourg in second, but remember it's done on the aggregate times, so North Macedonia will in fact take the points for second place with their national record from Heat 1. Azerbaijan in third. Well, Iceland's lead just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. This has been a dominant day indeed for a proud island nation who will be over the moon at how things have gone over the last 5 hours.
Still those 4 positions intact, but you can see there Luxembourg are now some, 23.5 ahead of Bosnia, so that makes quite a difference compared to something like half an hour ago where it was really within one event's distance. And obviously Luxembourg are looking to that margin compared to 4th place in order to be promoted. So still very much all to play for between those 3. Malta and Georgia, Azerbaijan a little bit further back, but that last event of today has helped Luxembourg out.
Hi, I'm Nadia Batogritti. Sign up now to the European Athletics YouTube channel.